Hi guys, I'm back again today with another video, and today we're checking out the car replacement bicycle, the bakfiets. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button, and let's find out what these exactly means because I'm so confused. What? The car replacement bicycle? Well, we'll see.
In 2014, we returned to Canada after many years of being abroad. We had been living in several
Is it for
countries and in
good?
cities that were walkable and had high quality public transportation. But we knew we wouldn't have those luxuries back in Canada because Canadian cities are designed wrong. So before we even got there, I was already researching what car we would buy. I was hoping we could at least drive electric because I personally prefer not to give little kids asthma when I travel somewhere. After the expense of the move, we didn't have enough money to buy a car anyway, and so we went without one for a while. But then we found something even better. This is a type of bicycle known in the Netherlands as a bakfiets, literally a box bike
Oh,
or bin bike.
bakfiets.
In English, these are usually just called cargo bikes, but that word can apply to many different types of bicycles, so I prefer to use the Dutch word. This bakfiets became our car in Toronto, and we used it for everything. We even took it with us when we moved to Amsterdam in 2018, so we are probably some of the only people in the world to re-import a Dutch bakfiets back into the Netherlands. These are insanely practical bicycles, and you will see them everywhere here, especially around schools and daycares. I genuinely believe that bikes like these have the potential to be the most important vehicles of the 21st century. One of the unexpected benefits for us was just how much kids love riding in bakfietsen and prefer them almost universally to sitting in a car. And this is really easy to understand because this is what the view looks like for a young child sitting in a bakfiets. You can tell this was filmed by a kid because it's all shaky and on a Dutch angle. And this is what a young child sees in the back of a car. There is no question as to which one of these is better from the point of view of a child. Riding like this allowed our kids to see the city as we did, and they developed a mental map of our neighborhood as well. They learned where everything was. They learned every landmark and every street name. This is so much more mentally engaging for a child than riding in a car. Of course, cargo bikes are really nothing new. They have been around for over a century, and they used to be a common sight in cities all over the world, usually as delivery vehicles. The book Curious George Takes a Job, published in 1947, shows this delivery man on a cargo bike, presumably in New York City. But if this book were published today, most people would be more surprised by the cargo bike than the monkey on the bus. Cargo bikes were also very common here in the Netherlands as well, but they became much less common as Dutch cities, including Amsterdam, became more friendly to cars and trucks in the 1960s and 70s. However, in the late 90s, the bakfiets made a comeback as an environmentally friendly and efficient way of transporting children in crowded cities. But these new bakfietsen are not like their cargo bike predecessors. First, they're a lot more agile and efficient, especially the two-wheeled versions. I really do not enjoy riding a three-wheel cargo bike because they're very slow and clunky, but also because they're really unstable if you turn too
Oh.
quickly. The only time a three-wheel bakfiets is more stable than a two-wheel bakfiets is when it's stopped, but the two-wheel versions have great kickstands anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the big innovation that's really driving this comeback is electric assist, because that's what really makes these go from being an interesting novelty to being car replacement bicycles. It's
Oh, okay,
incredible
okay.
just
I
how
get where
popular
we're
these
going
bikes have
now.
become in some parts of the Netherlands. Any place where there are young children, you will find bakfietsen. In North America, there's the stereotype of the suburban soccer mom. In the Netherlands, it's the bakfietsmoeder. Sometimes that term is used negatively, but that just proves that humans will complain about literally anything. Personally, I am very grateful to live in a city full of bakfietsmoeders instead of suburban soccer moms in giant SUVs. Now, there are some nice spots in most Canadian and American cities where you could conceivably ride a bakfiets, but the rest of these places are, let's be honest, completely car-infested sprawling seas of asphalt. So you do still need a car sometimes. We manage these corner cases by using a local car share program, and I talked about that in a previous video. But even if your situation means you can't go completely car-free as we did, There are a huge number of people who could go from two cars to one car in a bakfiets. And there are lots of benefits to doing that, especially financially. This bakfiets with electric assist costs us about 4,500 Canadian dollars in 2015. This would seem like too much money to many people in Canada because they consider bicycles to be toys or recreational vehicles instead of being a serious way to get around. Yet they wouldn't blink at somebody who spent that much money on a used car, for example. So when people in Canada would ask about the cost of this bike, and they were shocked by the amount, I would pretend they were shocked at how cheap it was and would respond with, "Yeah, I know, right? It costs less than just the options on a new car." And of course, a bakfiets has minimal operating costs as well. There's no gas, no insurance, and maintenance is cheap. Even a very high-end electric bakfiets, like the Urban Arrow, costs around $7,000 in the US because they have to be imported from Europe in small quantities. But regardless, any car ownership calculator will tell you you'll be spending anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 per year to own and operate a motor vehicle. That means you could literally buy an Urban Arrow, ride it for a year, and throw it in the garbage. And you could do that every single year, and you'd still come out better financially than buying a car. This bakfiets has literally saved our family tens of thousands of dollars since
I don't have my phone
2015.
here.
I am not
I was gonna
exaggerating
check
when I
if we
say that
sell
this has
them
literally been the
here,
best
but I
purchase I
doubt
have
it.
ever made in my entire life. Even better than the Curiosity Stream and Nebula bundle that you
Oh
can sign up for by
no.
going to curiositystream.com, going to the vet in a bakfiets. Besides trips to the vet, we would also use this bike for large grocery trips, and of course, taking our kids to school when they were too young to cycle by themselves. We brought our Christmas tree home in the bakfiets every year,
I
which was
need
way
that.
better than using a car because these bikes are so
Because
easy to clean. We use
in the grocery stores nowadays here, we use paper bags, which is really, really good. So sometimes I have so many like bags, like shopping bags, that you can even purchase at the grocery store. But I have so much that if I forget it, I don't want to buy. So I'm like, just give me paper bag because like I cannot keep buying them and then you just forget them. It's a waste of money and also like it's a waste. So, this cheeky people who work at the grocery, I think this was told to them by the upper ups. They're like, okay, if they have a paper bag, I mean, if they bought their grocery bags, you can double the paper bag that you use. But if they don't have and they don't want to purchase it, just use one paper bag. I've noticed that a lot, and I'm like, you cheeky SM. So that's what they do, right? They only give you one paper bag, even if it's the heaviest thing, and there's like cold items that will like tear the paper bag. They don't care. If you don't purchase or you don't have your own, they always never double the paper bag. That's something that I've really, really noticed. I'm like, I'm observing you guys, right? I'm about to like snitch on you guys. But anyways, I think it's obviously marketing so that you will end up buying because like when you are there in a busy hour and you stand in line for like cab or whatever, you would want to buy a bag afterwards. So I need one of those so that I can just put my grocery there and then make it home. Because most of the time, by the time I reach home, my paper bag is half because it's like wet at the bottom and it's all torn and it's just the upper part that is keeping everything together. I don't even know how I do it. Why am I so tired?
home a used air conditioner, an office chair, a TV, even planks of wood. And I take our large recycling and hazardous waste to the depot in the bakfiets too. In the Netherlands, there are bakfietsen available to rent if you need to carry something large. There are these old-fashioned kind big enough to move a
Ooh.
couch. And there are newer app-based services which make it trivially easy to rent one as necessary. Here in the Netherlands, bikes like these are also very popular with daycares for traveling with large groups of children. And I see bakfietsen being used every day as commercial vehicles, delivering packages or groceries or mail or electronics. In the Netherlands, these have absolutely become truck replacement bicycles in cities, and you can understand why. They're cheap to operate, they never get stuck in traffic,
And
and they
first
never.
of that's good too because I'm so sorry if I keep pausing. That's good too because like people who don't know how to ride a motorbike, first you're doing less pollution with the bicycle, and then people who don't have like bicycle motorbike license or can't ride a motorbike, don't have a motorbike, they could just get a buck feet or they can just ride that because here in the Philippines either I think for the most part you have to own your own bike, and those are the ones that do the delivery around, right, for delivery of your packages or food and all that stuff. You have to have your own bike first and foremost. I mean, not bicycle but motorbike. And secondly, like it costs more money, and they pay you like, you know 2 pesos, like they pay you nothing basically, so it's like you're not making anything. And not everybody can ride a motorbike, so here you're creating more jobs for people, so anyone can do it, right? Even if it's like for a small amount, at least anyone can do it, so it will kind of like give employment to people, so they should adapt it here.
Problems finding parking when making deliveries. Commercial e-bikes are becoming hugely important for
that's
city logistics.
that's
Even Toronto has
heavy.
this bakfiets delivery service called Nearby, and there are all kinds of designs that are coming to market in the near future, but that will have to be a topic for a future video. Because, yeah, bakfietsen can be used for so many trips that most people think would require a car. I asked for some examples from my followers on Twitter, and even I was surprised by the response. People carried kids, but also adults, lots of plants, and Christmas trees too, logs, and even more modern fuels,
Oh wow.
lots and lots and lots of grocery trips.
Yeah,
There were a lot of dogs, and you can even
I
buy
need
bakfietsen
for
specifically meant
grocery.
for dogs with a door at the front. There were photos of bakfietsen being used to move furniture, or to take out the trash, or any
Mm.
number of other things. I mean, look, if you try, you could dream up a scenario where you could use a car, yet couldn't do the same task with a cargo bike. But in my experience, the number of those scenarios that are actually likely to happen to most people on a regular basis are vanishingly small. And in almost all of those scenarios, you'd be better off renting a cargo van anyway. I cannot stress this enough. With an electric bakfiets like this one, you can take almost all of the trips that a normal person living in a city would need to take under normal circumstances. And if we could use a bike like this as a full car replacement vehicle while living in Toronto with kids, even through the winter, then there have to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of families in North America who could reasonably do the same thing. That is, if the streets were safe enough that most people felt comfortable cycling with their kids. But most streets aren't safe, and that's the problem. Because millions of people are being robbed of the opportunity to adopt an efficient and practical mode of transportation that could literally save them thousands of dollars per year. Because we've designed our cities only for driving. And when urban planners try to make the streets safer, their critics use excuses like families and hauling cargo as reasons not to build safe infrastructure. Because those ignorant people can't imagine a bicycle path being used by anyone except physically fit men in their 20s or 30s. But when you actually build safe infrastructure, you get stuff like this, and everybody is better off for it.
Yes.
We need to design our cities for bakfietsen and other kinds of cargo bikes. They don't need to be used by every person for every trip, but they do need to be an option for environmental reasons, for financial reasons, or even just because they're more efficient. That means bicycle paths need to be
Safety
built everywhere
reasons,
people need to go, and they need to be designed wider.
health reasons.
Bike parking needs to be designed to fit these kind of bicycles too, including spots on the street like here in Copenhagen or here in Paris. The bakfiets revolution is coming, and the most successful cities will be the ones that are prepared for it. I'd like to thank my supporters
Oh,
on Patreon who pay me to film the
that was fun to know the car replacement bicycle. So they have like electric bikes that are coming out, or electric buck feet. Now I know the term. I mean, I think I've heard it through our reaction, but I just forget. And today I'm kind of like not necessarily 100% here, but that is something that we definitely have to adapt, even if it's not the back feet, right? It's more of like just the bicycle culture. It's something that we have to slowly adapt. We have a bicycle lanes, which I said before in another video, but in like few places, or one place only that I've seen it, or few places I could say. um the thing is, nobody's doing it yet. I mean, there is some, maybe two people that I've seen in my entire life recently that I see use that. But then apart from that, it's empty. It's more of a walk lane than a bike lane at this point. I mean, this is an excuse to buy one, right? My problem is how I get there is the problem. Because from my home to going to that place, I probably will get hit like 20 times if I reach the bike lane. Like in my area, it's fine. But then when I go to the main road, oh, oh, nobody's gonna care. I'm gonna be like squished. That's the only problem that I find. It's not all over the city yet. That's why. But anyways, thank you for joining me in my chitter chatter. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.